Alright. Hey, guys. Alright. Alright. Hey, guys. Alright. My bad if you hear music. One of my neighbors across the street's playing that shit. So if you hear it, that's why. If you're wondering. But I wanted to kind of spend some time on this vlog for a bit. And, excuse me, kind of talk a little bit more about like the Switch stuff since, I made a obvious my experience video, or not my experience, reaction to it all. And I wanted to talk more about it because I know there's a lot of people going crazy, but then there's also a lot of people going crazy over the price, which I remember me and Chris really focused on when we were watching it this morning, so I want to talk about like everything in that bitch and how I felt. I want to talk. Yeah, CJ, or not CJ, Trickster. We'll talk about all of that in this one, so I want to explain like how my day kind of started to like lead up to that point, right? So basically, I remember like last night, like when the stream got announced or something. I was just basically doing my normal things yesterday, and then I went to sleep ridiculously early. And then I woke up around like 5:14, 5:15-ish, and went to the bathroom, fed Muff. I was getting ready to do all that, right? Like after feeding Muff, because Muff wouldn't stop meowing at 5, I come back in, I get Chris in, we're sitting there talking for a little bit, trying to conversate as quiet as possible since it's still really early. And the stream starts up like way later. Once it hits 6, I'm watching it, Chris is watching it. I wake Louie up too, so he's watching it from my little tablet screen and stuff. And I won't lie, the game announcements, they were hype as hell. Donkey Kong freaking Bonanza, like the first new 3D Donkey Kong in over 10, like I think 10, maybe 15, 20 years. Like after Donkey Kong 64 was fucking crazy. That took me by storm, 1000%, right? But what got me joked, right, was the prices of these games, right? Also, Deltarune was really good. I can't believe Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 was also announced in that stream. And then we got From Software. They got some games going and shit. They got brand new, like I think it was Dusk Bloods or whatever the fuck. Like, all that was good, right? All the reviews were good. Like, I loved each and every single one of them. Well, actually, I love the Donkey Kong one the most. Y'all know me, man. Big Donkey Kong fan here. And the Deltarune was, was like a close second, right? But what joked me and Ronnie and Louie up the most, right, was the prices of the damn games. That's what made me, and other than Deltarune, they said was going to be like $25. For like the whole game, and then the rest of the chapters are coming for free. That's at least what I've heard for Deltarune side of things. So I'm excited to get into Deltarune. More Deltarune. That is so good. That is so cool. Can't wait for that. I'm going to be playing that on my channel very soon. Whenever it comes out, I'll do it. Probably after a lot of other people do it, so people can just tell me what the fuck to do and what's up in the comments down below or something. But anyways, right? The FPS for Switch 2 was crazy. Everything was crazy with that Switch 2. It was crazy. But there were so many things that, like, joked me and Chris up, right? Like, what are you talking about? We're talking about the Switch 2 Direct that happened earlier today. And then I'm also just going to talk about other stuff in my day. But, there were so many things that, like, joked me and Ronnie up during that Switch stream, right? First of all, the game chat shit was really cool. Right? Like, we're finally getting some type of game chat for Nintendo because Nintendo never did it before. But what sucks is it's game chat. In order to use the game chat, right, you need to have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription to use the game chat. And I thought that was fucking stupid as hell because I'm like, wait. You're going to have a game chat, but you need Nintendo Switch to use it? Literally, Xbox and PlayStation do that shit for free. Like, you can literally talk to your friends for hours upon hours upon hours for free on the Switch 2. Or not Switch 2. On PlayStation 5 and Xbox, like, all the time. why the hell is it like so backwards in this regard, or so weird in this regard? Like for at least the texting or the video chat, and that's weird. Needing a Nintendo subscription service just for the voice chat. Already, I was like, that's kind of lame. But it's cool that they're adding it, but it's lame that it needs a subscription to be able to use. I thought that was lame. But the biggest thing I thought was lame, in my opinion, was like the game prices and stuff. Because I remember when me and Chris talked about the game prices, like digital games being, all of them being $80 at base. Or not all of them. Some of them are going to be $70, but there's also some that are $80. I remember that joked me and Ronnie up like fucking crazy. I was sitting there like, I have to pay $70 to play the newest Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? Because keep this in mind, when I'm playing Nintendo and shit, I'll pay $60 to play, you know, Mario Odyssey or all that other sort of stuff. But I'm like, $70, okay. 70 if we're talking about tax, 75 or $74. And then if it's $80, it's like $80 to $85 for a game. I'm sitting there like that's nearly $90 for a game if it's like a bundle or if it's like an exclusive. And I knew ever since they pulled that Tears of the Kingdom garbage, where Tears of the Kingdom was $70, the only Nintendo Switch game that was $70, it paved the way for every game after it to be $70 by default. I saw some games are going to be $90. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what choked me and Ronnie up, because I was like, great. The new Donkey Kong that I was so ready to play. Like, because my dad said this, right? Because I was talking to my dad about this, and Dad said, 450 to 500, that's not that bad for a console. That's like maybe 2 weeks of saving right there. That's not that bad, Alan. Like, really think about it. That's like 2 weeks of Louis saving money so y'all can get that shit. That's not that bad. And I'm like, you know, now looking at it from your perspective and seeing that, yeah, it's not that bad, but like if I save it all up, but it's like, I don't know, Louis' PS5 was $550. If I remember correctly, that shit was $550. Shit was not cheap. Which, to be fair, $450 for just the Switch, and then $500 for the console alone is, you know, alright. But it's like, I get that, and I see Dad's perspective. It's not that bad, but as long as, you know, you do something new, you change, you get with the times, it's not that bad, you know? That's what my dad was saying. But, like, after the console, right, you guys think the console pricing is bad? Look at the Joy-Cons, bro. The Joy-Cons are $90. Like, when you try to buy them, like, separately. Just $90 for the two controllers. The dock itself is $100. The straps for the Joy-Con 2s is like $12. The fucking camera slash the camera shit is like $50. The fucking, and then on top of all of that shit, right, if you're just getting all of it separately, on top of the games being already $60, $70, that's basically like, what the fuck right there. And I remember me and Ronnie were like, bro, we might not even get Switch 2s because of not only how pricey the system is, plus Ronnie can't even get it because, you know, he got his PS5, he got his option right there. And since they're getting rid of the gold points, it's like every single game is like gonna be so expensive now, and it's like, fuck, man. And I get it, like Switch games are pretty expensive too, but there's sometimes where I got them at deals, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, I got that at Zia Records for $47 when Nintendo would charge you $60 for Donkey Kong. So it's like, I got it at a discount at a different store. So obviously there's going to be discounts at different stores for the Switch 2 when it comes out, and Switch games way later down the line. But that's way later down the line. That isn't right now. Jahai, Mario Kart World physically is $90. What the fuck? That's what I'm saying. Like, these games here are going to be so expensive. It's crazy. right? And bro, don't even get me started with Australia. I think Louis said Australia. It's like $800 down there for people in Australia, and I'm like, holy, bro. And I'm like, dude, are the tariffs really fucking over people that badly or something in other countries to try to get that shit over there? I better be, I better be able to see every single hair of Mario's damn mustache. Oh my god. I mean, and I bet the experiences are gonna be so great, you know, like if I do get the new Donkey Kong, like it's gonna be a fantastic time and whatnot. I don't doubt that, you know, but it's just like, I don't know, $60 for Donkey Kong? Damn, I'm a little stoked on that shit, you know. I'm a little surprised at that. And I need some time to process. Like I think I genuinely even said like I don't no, I didn't say that. I was like, dude, I could get a Steam Deck for cheaper, right? I could get a Steam Deck for like 200 or maybe 300 and I can play like Sonic Unleashed recompiled, you know, the best version of Sonic Unleashed on that bitch. And I can emulate like 90 or a good 60-70% of Nintendo's library, like on that Steam Deck if I was to get one. So tell me why I would want the Switch 2 over a Steam Deck, you know, outside of wanting like the newest and greatest Nintendo video games that release. Other than that, it's like 90% of people are already picking the Steam Deck, you know what I mean? Over the new Nintendo Switch 2. Or vice versa, they're picking the Nintendo Switch 2 because they don't know what a Steam Deck is and they probably wouldn't know how to set that bitch up. So, that's why a lot of people are probably going to go over there. And like, what mainly tripped me up, right, was the games and the price of, like, the console, right? Those were, like, the main two things that tripped me up in my stream, and that's why I felt so conflicted earlier, you know, like, with, like, Nintendo on this, because it's like, I'm a fan, and it's like, I'm seeing, like, every game be priced like that now. Now it's gonna be like, if I get this Switch 2, right, and I play the library, how much is the Switch 1 games going to cost for the jump? That was another thing that I really disliked about the Direct, was the Direct was giving us so much shit, but they were never telling us the prices of everything, you know? Like, they never had a price tag down below it. They just said, later today, we're going to have this available. Later to that, we're going to have that available. And it's like, later this day or that day. And it's like, cool, I love these announcements, phenomenal, but I would love the price of some of these announcements to be revealed. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like Switch 2's, like, even the Switch 2 announcement for the price would have been amazing in that Direct, but they never showed us. So we had to go fucking deep dive it on Twitter and shit. It's like they wanted to hide the price to not ruin the hype. Exactly. That's why a lot of Nintendo fans right now are skeptical, even me, are skeptical about buying the damn thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the experience is about to be fucking phenomenal. Like I said, Mario Kart World's having free roam. That's going to be crazy. And then the game chat's going to be crazy too. If you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, keep that in mind. And, you know, the $60 like GameCube shit, that's going to be cool. But it's like, I wish they were just way more upfront with us. Like, why are you guys hiding that stuff from us? You know, we're the ones that are buying your shit on a regular basis. We're the ones doing that. So it's like, if you're just upfront with your audience you know, okay, let me re-explain this. If you're upfront with your audience that is going to buy your shit right out the gate, I feel like people would have been way less pissed off. They would have been like, whoa, that's pretty pricey. But, like, they would have had a little bit more time to digest it by, like, hour 3 or hour 4 or hour 5. You know what I mean? Instead of, like, having to figure it out later on Twitter or going to the Nintendo page to figure all this shit out. I felt like if you were just honest in that Direct, because there was over 1 million people in there, and 1 million people cleared their schedules just to see y'all stuff, and you just kept revealing and revealing without revealing the prices. And it's like, I mean, shit, people are about to be the hypest motherfuckers, but let's say this scenario, right? You're working, you get home, you find out, like, you're watching the direct as much as you can when you know, in the fucking car way to work. And you can't, and you're really trying to find out the price because you saved up enough money, or you saved up a good chunk of it for the Switch 2, but they're not revealing anything for prices, so you're just kind of sitting there wondering while you're driving to work. Then you come back from work and you're like, okay, let me find out them prices, or at lunchtime, or let me find out the price of that shit at home. You find out it's this amount, and it's like, oh, fuck. You know, maybe I didn't have enough, or, all right, let's see about the games. You know, I got enough for the console, but let me see if I have enough for them games. And you see the games, and they're like $80, $90, or it's around 80, yeah, it's around 70, 80, around, okay, let's just say this baseline, 70, 80, $90, and it's like, what the fuck? I didn't save up enough for this. Though it could be easy to save up. I mean, you just save up and get it. But then again, it's like, damn, dude, we're moving into an era where gaming is getting more and more pricey, like, as an endeavor to get yourself into more than ever, man. And I feel like there's going to be so many people that are going to have to possibly skip out on Switch 2 and stay with Switch 1, like, at least for another year or two before they can even think about getting the Switch 2 and upgrading and shit. You know, because they couldn't save enough in this period of time, or, you know, thinking of their circumstance and shit, which is why Nintendo is trying their best to support Switch 1 as much as they possibly can, you know, before they inevitably make the jump to Switch 2 and only focus on Switch 2, which is why Metroid Prime is going to be simultaneously releasing for Switch 2 and Switch 1. And I think there's maybe a few other games that are just going to still be Switch 1 and jump to Switch 2 and all that other sort of shit. So, it's going to be cool regardless. It's cool, but it's like, it's going to be a lot regardless you're going to have to do. And it freaks me out that it's like all this shit is even happening in the first place, and it's ridiculous. And I told my brother, like, I want this, you know, but I'm also very skeptical and probably don't want the damn thing, because I was talking to Chris about not wanting the Switch 2 because of its price and because of its fucking games, because I don't want to ask Louis, like, every other month for a $70 fucking game, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, I have asked for games that are as much as that before, or lower, but I try my best to not ask him for, like, games above that, because I don't want to be like everybody else where it's like, yep, can I get this $70, $80 game or something, like, every other week, you know? I want them I want them cheap games and shit, you know? So it's like, I don't want to ask him for games that feel like overpriced, and I feel like most of the games on Nintendo Switch 2 are overpriced, so it's like, damn, man. You know, that's why I don't want to ask him for all that shit all the time. Also, I heard it's going to be $20, $30 just to upgrade a Switch game to the more optimized version of Switch 2. That's another reason why I tripped up, you know? Like, and I was getting pissed at Nintendo because I'm like, $20, $30 for a fucking upgrade? You know what I should have done then if that was the case, bro? I should have just fucking not even bought the Switch 1, waited 4 years, wait and bought the Switch 2 instead, and, like, not even think about the upgrades or whatever. That's how it makes me feel sometimes when I hear about that. Like the upgrades are possibly going to be $20, $30 or $40 or $50 upgrades, because I'm like, that's worse than PlayStation. I remember Chris was also really pissed off about this one, because PlayStation 5 upgrades for your PS4 games are either free or like a small fee of $10, $15, $20, you know, max. Unless you just get the PS5 version outright and it's $70 and stuff. Again, maybe people might think I'm tripping out about it too much or whatever, but it's like, this is just honestly how I feel about the whole thing. Like, excuse me, in that stream. And even afterwards, you know, seeing all that shit now, it's like, dude, that is ridiculous. Like a $20, $30, $40 upgrade from my Super Mario Odyssey that I spent, like, hold on, let me show y'all. Here, let me try to find a spot. Okay, right here. I spent, like, I think this game was still full price when I got it, but $60 for this, right? And now it's like, what's 60 plus, 20? $80 I spent on Odyssey. And then if it's 30, I spent $60 plus 30, so 80, 90, 100. And then if it's $40 upgrade, I just spent over $100 on Super Mario Odyssey just for it to get ported over. Like, I spent 60 for base Switch, which was like 8 to 9, 10 years ago. And then with the Switch 2 prices, like I mentioned, $20, $30 upgrade, from this to Switch 2 version of this, so it can just run better and it can run faster. It's like, why? I'll just play the Switch version of it. I don't really give a fuck about my FPS. $30 for an FPS upgrade and maybe a few new things. It's like, for certain games, you get like new content on top of that. Which I'm glad some developers actually thought of, like whenever people make the jump to the Switch 2 version of their said already bought game and add new content, so at least the experience feels more fresh. I respect Kirby and the Forgotten Land for doing this, because they added a whole new like remix mode or something to make it feel a little bit more fresh. So I'm like, okay, make the Kirby Forgotten Land experience more fresh. That is a good thing. That's what a lot of these Switch 2 upgrades should strive to do, is add more to the game so the game doesn't feel like a pointless upgrade or just a greedy upgrade. Like, make the upgrade valuable, worth the extra money, being put into the upgrade. Because what happens when Donkey Kong Country Returns HD gets ported over to Switch 2, or not ported, but gets the Switch 2 upgrade? Like, what's going to happen to this game? Is there going to be even more content in this game now? Like, what's going to happen? I know the possibilities are endless, but it makes me question. Like, are some games only going to be played on Switch like this one, Super Mario 3D All-Stars and shit? Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is going to get a Switch 2 version, but how much is this Tears of the Kingdom going to be now? My brother bought this at full price, $70. So the fact that it's getting a Switch 2 port, which is going to be $80, even $20, $80, that's $90 for this game if it gets a Switch 2 port. And I know, again, it's not my money that I'm spending. It's mainly Louie's money that I ask him to grab me these things for. But I still, as a person that gives a fuck about what their brother spends it on, or, if I ask him for something, I want to make sure, I'm straight, like, I actually genuinely want this despite its price, And I don't want to just be like a blind Nintendo fanboy where I just sit there and buy everything, without thinking about it first, because I think about these things at least. And I also know I'm not the only one who feels this way about this. I'm not going to feel that conceited and say, I'm the only one who feels this way, when there's tons of people out there who already feel that way, just like me, about the Switch 2. And I'm probably going to see videos about it, like, all day long, maybe, possibly. I have no idea. Like Demeech, he's conflicted. Like, we're already buying the console plus overpriced games, plus subscription, plus expansion pack, plus Switch 2 accessories to add content to games, and now upgrades to previous Switch games. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. At least give us something for free. Like, I even said this in my I think off stream, when I was talking with Chris. I said, spending this much for the console and its games is one thing, and if they made at least these games, whenever you want to upgrade them to Switch 2, like, free and available to everyone around the world, like, for free for a period of time or something, I feel like that would have at least made that would have made things at least a little bit better, in terms of the situation we're in right now. But since we have no knowledge on the virtual games, this information could be outdated by the time I probably make another vlog about this. But I remember me and Louie just prayed that, like, the virtual games, like the upgrades won't be that expensive, you know? Because it's like, again, Nintendo needs to think about this. And I know they spent a long time thinking about this, and they want to go the route that they will go down. That's usually Nintendo. If they are dead set on something, they will make sure to get that shit done. They will make sure to do it at all times. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I respect their determination to get the shit they want done, but a big part of me is like, I wish they would take a back seat for a bit and just think about the people that can't really save up all that much because they got their own bills to pay. They got their own, like, living space they got to worry about, like, every month, you know? Yeah, every month of 365 fucking days or something, you know? And I know I shouldn't be talking. I know people probably would tell me, you shouldn't be talking, man. You got, like, the PS3, you got the PS5, you got the Wii, you got the regular Switch. You're rich. What are you talking about? I'm not rich. I'm not. I just luckily had these things, you know, throughout my lifetime. You know, for example, the PS3, you know, I've had that for many years. Me and Louis just haven't used it, you know, and we recently got it out. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to clean that again. Matter of fact, we got that shit back out, you know, because of the fact, you know, we wanted to play it again. We wanted to experience what was on the PS3 library again, you know. That's why we got that shit out. And the Wii was $50. You know, just in general, the console was $50. So that was a steal, you know. Now it's like $70 to $80. It went up a little bit as time went along again. But and my Switch, I got really lucky because I got it when it was 3-4 years left of its lifespan. And you know, I found it for I think a little bit cheaper than usual. The V2 version, not the first version of Switch, where it's 20 gigs or something, or 25 or 32 gigs. No, because V2 was 32, and then V1 was like 25 or something, 22 gigs, so something like that. But yeah, I got all of this by luck, you know, or not by luck, but I got most of this by circumstance and, you know, just by having it, just by Louis spending, you know, so much. But then again, it's like, is it real? Because I just keep reminding myself of Dad's point, you know, hammering it home. Like, it isn't that much spending. I mean, look at this. You got Odyssey, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, Mario Kart 8 in here, Mario Rabbids. I really need to get on this game. I haven't, like, touched this game once, and I've had it for weeks now. I need to really get on this one and play. I heard this one was really good. I liked the second one, but I really wanted to get on this one. But yeah, I remember, like, this was kind of fucking over my day a little bit. After the stream was over, and after me, Louie, and Ronnie were talking about it for, like, a really long time, and Ronnie was just getting really sick of us, like, talking about it all the time, like, the Switch price and everything, just going on and on and on, because it was so bullshit, and Ronnie was not only getting pissed at us talking about it, but it was also because he was pissed at the same thing we were upset about. So it's like, not only that, but it's also just constantly hearing about it and blah, 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 and doing all that other sort of shit. It's like, come on, man, it's getting kind of annoying now. You know, and I understand that. I would be annoyed too, which I was annoyed after Louis kept going on about it after the stream was over, like 30, 40 minutes later, just sitting on Twitter, just going on and on and on about that. And thanks to Louis, I know about the pricing of the Nintendo Switch 2 and all that other sort of shit. And after a while, I was kind of just sitting there, like, wondering about it in my head the whole time, like, damn, do I want this thing? Do I not want this thing? You know what I mean? It just kept going on in my head, and, you know, and I think I even went outside a little bit because of it. I was like, dude, it's boggling my mind a little bit, so I needed to get some fresh air and come in, just get some fresh air for a little bit, just go on a small walk, thinking about it, like, should I do it, should I get it, do I want it, do I want to play the new Donkey Kong? Yes, I do, but no, I don't, because of how, you know, what that price is. It's like, I wish I could get it for cheap, you know, but it's going to take a long time for that to happen, and I know people when a new game comes out, people spoil the fuck out of it day one or day two, because of their thumbnails and they need the clicks and whatever. And I don't want to get spoiled on a new Donkey Kong game. I want to, like, play it for myself, beat it for myself and shit, and maybe for you guys on YouTube, and if I get around to getting a Switch too. So, I mean, and it's going to give me a completely new experience, I got to fish for those newer experiences sometimes, my head is so into the old and the old ways that it's like the new ways sound ancient, or the new ways are just too much for me sometimes, to really screw my head on about, or whatever, or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses, whatever. I don't know. But other than all that shit that happened today, I decided to make this vlog because of the Switch shit, and because I just wanted to, kind of make this vlog kind of just talking about it, talking about this Switch 2 a little bit more, getting your guys' thought process, about it. Because I feel like if I got your guys' opinions, we could talk about it. How do you guys feel about it, I already made a reaction stream to it and expressed like a lot of my feelings there. I'm just pretty much repeating them from that video here into this vlog, just to kind of express it a little more and just kind of, again, wrap my head around it a little better than what I did in that stream, Because in that stream, I was mad about the prices. I was mad about everything. Now it's like I'm a little bit more relaxed. I'm a little bit more level-headed. And, and I'm trying to think about other perspectives. Like, I'm trying to think about Nintendo's perspective in all this. Like, why do they make it so high? Was it the tariffs that Donald Trump is trying to do? Is that why it's a little bit more pricier over here or in other places other than Japan? Or, well, what's the deal, I'm trying to think of what's up. But obviously I won't ever get that answer because, Holy shit, my lips are freaking chapped as hell. I need lip shit. Excuse me. I need lip. I do have like chapstick, right? But I don't use it because every time I do, I always forget to use this is Carmex. This is another lip shit, but I need to wash my hands before I even use this stuff. Mainly because of I got dirt on my hands and stuff. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, stream. My bad for being gone for so long. Alright, I had to use the bathroom too, on top of everything. Um, but, yeah, like you see, I use Carmex. Um, I use Carmex, right? Sometimes for my lips, but I don't use it a lot because I always tend to forget to take care of my lips anyway, and they just get chapped all over again. That's the whole reason why I don't fucking use lip balm or whatever the fuck to fix my lips up, you know? I just accept that they're fucking dry and they're ashy all the time. But back to what I was saying about the Switch 2 and shit, and I feel like it being overpriced a little bit, and its games being a little overpriced and shit. But then again, there's so much new shit, like, in this Switch 2 thing, that I feel like that makes it the price that it is, but at the same time, I'm sitting there like, I don't know if people asked for a lot of these upgrades. They just asked for something that runs better than the original Switch, right? That was, like, the main thing. But Nintendo went above and beyond, adding a fucking whole-ass cooling system, two different charging little docks in there. If they're going to start making up prices on their games, what's stopping the other companies from doing the same? That's what me and Chris also talked about. We talked about that very issue too. Like, if Nintendo can get away with $85 games, that means game companies like PS5 or PS5, PlayStation, Xbox, they're gonna be like, okay, if they can get away with that, why don't we do the same as well for our games? Matter of fact, they're better. We have way better graphics than Nintendo's fucking games 90% of the time. So we should have a bigger excuse than them to make our games $90, if not $95. You know? We can do those movies if you want to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do those because since that Switch shit is over, you know, I can do those. The movies and shit. Guardians of Galaxy 1 and 2. Great movies, by the way. Those are some pretty good ones. I need to get back on Kingdom Hearts 2 too, because I'm trying to regrind Kingdom Hearts 2, guys, so I can like give you guys content for Kingdom Hearts 2, so we can do like Lingering Will on stream or the Data Org members on stream, because I didn't really quite do those guys on stream like I wanted to 2 years ago or 3 years ago and stuff. Even though I did play Kingdom Hearts all the way through 2-3 years ago, it's just been a long time since I've done that. So why not do all the secret bosses on stream for you guys, since I beat them all before and I can do it again. But this time the only difference is I have it in proud mode instead of standard mode, aka normal mode. So it's a little bit harder than normal mode for me this time around going in. I know, your boy's doing something a little bit harder than average. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. Because I don't really do that a whole lot of the time with my games. Well, a lot of my games don't have difficulty settings built in or put in. It's just the normal difficulty is the difficulty of the game, you know? Or the difficulty of the game just rises up, like, slowly but surely, you know, 90% of the time. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like with Switch 2 getting away with the shit. Okay, awesome. Laughing my ass off. Josh texted me, so I'm at work right now, bored. It's slow as shit here, but I'll see you tonight, man. Hey, I'll see you tonight, Nick. I gotta let Louis know, because Louis is about to be like, or whatever. I don't know what Louis is playing for the night. Louis does weird things at night, man. Well, not weird things, but he just likes to, I get, like, Louis, my brother, being a night owl, but sometimes I don't understand, like, why he is one. Like, I get it sometimes, because you just can't sleep sometimes, but, like, why are you awake so late up at night after you get home from work? Like, if that was me, bro, I would be out on the bed, out cold, bro. Like, the amount of times, like, Louis wakes up, man. But earlier today, I was on, but Wi-Fi died, so that's fun. So that's why we didn't just do it earlier. I understand, bro, I get that. Yeah, my internet was tripping up today, too, actually, for PS5. It was weird as fuck. Like, I remember I was trying to talk to Chris, because I was in party with him, because it was after the Switch Direct, and, you know, his internet was shitting out because he had thunderstorms, and my internet just suddenly shitted out for a little bit, because for no fucking reason. And I was like, why? Is it because of the strong winds outside? Probably. I don't know. But, I don't know. Maybe. That's what I assumed. But I got it back like 5-10 minutes after, so we're straight. By the way, winds, yeah. Yeah, winds could be the reason why my internet got knocked out. I'll probably make this one an hour and then, probably just grind Cage 3 or Cage 2 for a good chunk of the day. I was going to upload shorts, but, like, I kind of don't want to since, we did the We Play unboxing stream yesterday. I think I'm going to take a break from gaming 2 on stream just for a little bit. Maybe just talk a little bit, get a little bit more talky-based videos out there. Because obviously, bruised up my hand earlier, like yesterday or a day or two ago now. So my left hand's feeling all sorts of shit today. Griff's Wi-Fi went out with 40 miles per hour winds. Holy shit. 40 miles an hour. I think that can blow a full grown-ass man off his ass, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that can make a grown-ass man fall on his ass. The fuck? But yeah, honestly, I think this will be the last time I talk about the Switch 2 shit, because I don't want to, like, perseverate or talk about it for a long time, but I think it's, for the price tag that they're going for, I think it's going to be worth it if I got one, because obviously that's going to be 9-10 more years of fun memories I can make up with Switch 2 and with you guys if we play together on something. And, the fact that it's going to have a cool, like the Switch 2 is going to have a cooling system, the fact that the FPS is going to be going from 60 to 120 FPS, the screen in handheld mode is 2, 3, 4, like it's 7.9 or it's 9.7 inches or 7.9 inches. Meanwhile, the regular Switch was like 3 to 4, 5 inches or something like that. The games are going to be pretty pricey, but they're going to be bigger. They're going to be broader. They're going to be even crazier than what Switch 1 brought out. So that's why I'm like, yo, for anyone that is really excited for Switch 2 and is going to grab it, I recommend you grab it. I'm obviously probably going to grab it. Just maybe not day one, maybe not day one. The fact that it's coming out around Nick's birthday is crazy, like June 5th. And then some games are even going to be releasing after Nick's birthday on that thing. It's about to be crazy. Only reason I can say for why mine went out is because I have sandblasting construction happening outside like 10, 15 feet from my window. Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, Nick, Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened today, and they dropped the release trailer. June 5th will be the time that Switch 2 releases. And then there's going to be games on top of that release within that month. So around your birthday, or some games on your birthday. So that's cool. Can I get one for my birthday? Dude, I fucking wish. It's, okay, Nick, I can tell you the prices of them too. So, for if you want to know. I know you're probably joking, but just to let you know, $450 for just the Nintendo Switch 2, with just the console, and obviously a controller and shit, that's it. And if you want Mario Kart included, like Nintendo Switch 2, the system and all that shit, with Mario Kart Worlds, $500. And then whenever you want to buy a game, it's like $70 to $80 for Switch games and shit. And then if you want like Switch 1 game upgrades, they could be $20, $30. And even then, it's only, not every Switch game is going to be compatible probably. It's like those things. That teeny thing, lol. Is that the price of the PS5? Is nuts. No, it's the price. Okay. That's what I said, right? But it's like it's $500 when you get the Switch with Mario Kart like included with the Switch too. Without it, it's $450. See, because the PS5 was 500 base, and then I think it was 500 base. But then also the other accessories like made it worse. And then PS5 Pro, I think, was like, or PS5 Slim, I think, was even worse than that, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, for what Switch do, I don't care, lol. That's pretty crazy. I said the same thing. Like, 450/500 for the Switch 2, like an even bigger Switch 1 is crazy. With over, they said 256 gigabytes is a lot of gigs to it, and I'm like, bitch, I have that amount. I asked for 350 max. That's what the Switch was. The Switch 1 was... Hold on. No, actually, I'm lying. Hold on. The Switch Lite, I remember, was 150 or 250, and then the regular Switch was 300. And then the Switch Pro was already 350. That's why they went with 450 instead. So it's $150 more than your it's like basically it's $50 more than, or actually I think it's more than that. It's like 100 and something more than Switch Pro, or not Switch Pro, Switch OLED. That's what they went with. Yeah, that's why it's $450. I don't know why they made it that way for the base one, because this is what my pricing was gonna be. It was gonna be $400 max. That's it, and then everything else is about to be $60 games, $70 games, whatever, you know. And then that was gonna be the console, but no, they said $450 for base, $500 if it comes with Mario Kart. All the games, if not most games, are going to be $70 to $85. And then if you want, like, Nick, look at this. Like, let's say this game right here. You want a Switch 2 upgrade of this? Possibly $30 for a Switch 2 upgrade of said game, possibly. Going on over there for Switch 2 and shit. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. You know? In my opinion, that is fucking ridiculous. And literally almost every Nintendo fan right now is questioning, like, what the hell is up with Nintendo right now for even trying to attempt this shit. Because, like, in the stream, Nick, to explain it to you a little bit, they didn't even drop prices for none of the announcements. You know what I mean? Even the Switch, the console itself, people had to find out by going to their webpage and Twitter to find out the prices for everything over there and stuff. At least, you know what? I will give the PS5 this. I'll give the PS5 this. At least they didn't hide the price in their direct. I'm gonna be straight. At least they at least showed us how much it was gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, in the direct they announced the PS5. See, when the PS5 came out, it wasn't getting sold like how the PS4 sold on day one because of the price. But if you want a good profit, lol, don't do 600. That's crazy. Do like 400 or something because y'all PSN and Xbox. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I said. You guys are not PS5 or Xbox. Why are you pricing it like it is a PS5 or an Xbox? What, is it the 60 to 120 frames per second? Like, what is going on here? Like, is it, like, we still don't know how powerful it is. You know, obviously we know it's a way more powerful Switch, but it's like, we still don't know, like, how powerful it is concretely. Like, if you compare the specs to a PS5, like, is it as powerful as a PS5? Is it half of a PS5? Is it Xbox One worthy? Is it, where does it stand in all of this? I mean, if it can run Elden Ring, it might be up there because they announced Elden Ring on there too. Oh, and on top of that, they announced a completely new From Software game that is exclusive to Switch so far, so that's interesting. Are giant companies to maybe get away with it, but now they have followers like Fortnite did all the shooters having Battle Royale? Yep. That's true. That's what I said to Chris, and Chris and I were conversating about this. I said the same thing to him. I was like, dude, because Nintendo was doing this, and I swear they only did this because they priced Tears of the Kingdom at 70 as a test to see if their fans would comply and buy it, and a lot of people did, and they're like, we want this to be our new average, if not maybe more. Everyone needs to go back doing their own thing in profit and money management. Yeah, yeah. Um, I agree. I feel like everyone does need to go back and do their own thing, their own pricing and management. But then again, if they do their own shit, it's like, oh wait, because I remember way back in the day, that's how kind of how it was in the gaming space, if I remember correctly. Like it was like that, like Nintendo and Sega back in the '90s, '80s and '90s and shit, and yeah, definitely '80s and '90s, where Sega would be like, the reason why you should get a Sega Genesis is because I'm $100 less than Nintendo, and my games are more peak, and they're more graphically better than Mario's, so get my shit for a cheaper price. Or Mario did the same thing, like, hey, I may be a little bit more expensive than Sega this time with the Super Nintendo versus the Genesis, but I got some quality titles here that kick Sonic's ass, you know? That's why my shit is a little bit more pricier. We got the Super Mario World over here, you know? That's what's up, you know? But nowadays it's all about, okay, we have new specs in our shit. It needs to be $300, $400, $500 because the new specs are in our things. We need that. We need the extra money boost or whatever the fuck because we got the highest tech or whatever technology, blah, blah, whatever. And you wonder why a lot of people just buy a PC and then just play whatever they got on Steam. You wonder why sometimes. Even though it costs way more than a console sometimes in some scenarios and stuff. But, because, see, I'm like, I got a mindset for this shit. Because I can see, like, how different... I mean, they are still kind of doing that if you think about it. Because, like, Nintendo doing the 300 to 400 range. Xbox doing the same thing as Sony, where they're doing 500. And Sony's trying to do 500 as well, or 600. If we go back to those days, lol, I bet most of the haters will stop their little petty shit. I wouldn't say stop their petty shit, because I feel like a lot of people will bitch about anything just because they can. And factual. Maybe some people will stop. I feel like some people will stop if they just... actually, you know what? This is something I think I said in stream towards Chris, actually. I said, I feel like people would not be as pissed off about, like, games being $70, $80 or beyond, or consoles going beyond that, right? If they were getting paid really good, like, no matter what they did, no matter what job they had, they got paid a good amount so they can not only live comfortably, they can live way easier. I feel like that's, like, a big component in all of this, is people aren't able to live. It's like, fuck, I have to pay that much for entertainment nowadays. Would I rather pay for, entertainment that's like half my rent, or would I rather stay alive in a building at night, with a roof under my head? And most people pick the roof under their head, and the rent they gotta pay, instead of trying to buy the video game console that's like $1,000 nowadays or something, or getting close to it, especially with PS5. Heck, PS5 in some areas of the world that isn't America has it over $1,000 in some regions, in some areas of the world, which is sad. Because it's like, damn, for us it's cheaper, but like for some people, like in Australia, I can't even imagine what it's like down there, or again, other places around the world with their prices and shit, Then you wonder why, like, some people don't game anymore, or some people get out of it, or people in other cultures don't even game that much to begin with, because it's like anything from outside of their area is overpriced, or just way too damn expensive. They can't really get into it anymore, so they gotta move on. They gotta do other things with their lives. To be fair, I feel like that's coming up for us as well, but at a slower pace because, you know, our currency is like, I don't know how to say it, a lot more. But then again, if we think about it, it is getting less and less as the year because the amount of money for the dollar bill, if I'm correct on this, the amount of money on a dollar bill lessens with each and every passing year. Like the amount of, like for example, that bag back there, that bag was 45 cents back in the day. Just a random example. Now, because the dollar bill of our state is lower and lower with each year because of inflation and because we're making less and less actual bills for it, that bag now costs $2.50. See what I mean? Are you going to bring yeah, I mentioned it earlier this vlog. I said, yes, I will bring chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune to my page when it comes out. So, I'm going to do that 1,000 times over. I love Deltarune. I love Undertale. I'm in it now. I'm really in it now. And I really want to know what's happening to my boy Chris, what happens to Susie, what happens to freaking Lancer, what happens to everybody. I want to know. I want to know and I want to see. So, whenever that happens, I'm there. Probably not day one, though, but I'm going to be there. Because I am a fan of Deltarune and Undertale now. Big fan. Well, I don't know about like a massive fan or something, like I'm on my toes begging for this shit to come out, but I'm a fan of the shit, nonetheless. Alright, mate, I unfortunately gotta go back to work. Alright, man, I hope you have a great time. Well, not a great time, because I know work is a bitch, but hey, man, I'll see you later tonight for those movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I'll see you for those ones, man, and then we can do Ultron Saturday. Because Age of Ultron, big movie, you know. And then I gotta get up. You know what? I gotta get up on those reviews anyway, because I just realized that I think for those reviews for the Marvel movies, I'm like, did I do Iron Man 3? Because Iron Man 3 is right here. Let me see if I did it. The fuck? I thought I heard something, but let me go back over to my uploads, past streams. Last time I talked about Thor Dark World, so I still didn't do Iron Man 3 or Captain America over here. So I need to do Iron Man 3 and Captain America. Captain America Winter Soldier. So I need to do both of those videos, and once I do that, maybe I'll just do Iron Man 3 today and then just call it off after Iron Man 3 so then I can write about Guardians 1 and 2 and then Ultron and all that shit. Because I know I did Avengers 4 days ago. I see that video now, and then Thor Dark World. This is Dark World. So I need to do Iron Man 3. Because I remember I was going to do it like eons ago, but there was so much shit happening. Like, you know, the Direct, you know, me deciding to play Wii Sports, you know, me wanting to vlog, or, you know, me wanting to make a new My Experience, or me wanting to play Donkey Kong Country 2. There was just so much shit, you know, that I wanted to get done, you know, in a way. So I need to get, you know what? I think I will just get it done now. And let me get my hat and stuff, and I'll get it done now. I might as well just talk about Iron Man 3 really quick, talk about my thoughts, get it out of the way. Review time, Iron Man 3, this bitch, because it's a cool movie, and, you know, I was surprised with it. Why not? But yeah, guys, let me know also in this stream down below as well, like, what do you guys think of the Nintendo Switch 2? You guys gonna grab that bitch? Do you guys want me to grab it? Like, Like, even if you guys don't necessarily get it, do you guys want me to grab it so I can make, like, content on that bitch? Or how do you want me to go about it, you know? That's literally my thought process on the Switch 2. I'm still mixed on the prices and everything that Switch 2 has to offer, but I am really, like, just thinking about what my dad said and just not really thinking about it so much. And, you know, it's for the experience, you know? You know, obviously it's going to be, you know, whenever you buy a console, it's for that experience, but I feel like, I think I might wait a year or two as well. That's actually not a bad idea, Trickster. I'm personally going to wait a year or two if there's any issues like the original Switch. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, the original Switch had issues such as screen issues, frame rate issues on a lot of games. There was some other issues, stuff like that, but I digress. Let me look up Iron Man 3. Oh, whoops. Iron Man 3. Here you go. So I can get ready for that video. But yeah, you're right. There are so many problems with the original Switch, and shit, I need to get up on that. You know, maybe I'll wait a year or two too. But then again, I don't want to miss Donkey Kong. Like, that's the thing that fucks me the most, right? In this scenario is I don't want to play Donkey Kong a year later, you know? Because the whole reason I missed 90% of the Switch One's life is because my brother didn't have a job, my dad didn't have a job, it was hard to pay bills as it was, you know? We were all... you know, we were all just living our lives, just playing on what we had available to us, you know, our PlayStations, you know, our PS4s at the time. So that's why, like, I couldn't do anything Nintendo related or ask for a Nintendo or something. But now that it's like, I have the possibility of getting one or asking for one or whatever because my brother got a job and, you know, he laces me up like every week or every other week, you know, for shit. And it's like, or, you know, Dad does lace me up every now and again, but I just try not to ask my dad so much for shit because he already does like a billion things for me, like a roof under my fucking head, you know, food to eat. Louis also does food for me, him, and Dad to eat too, but it's like, you know, Dad's been doing it so much longer, which is why I don't like asking him for a lot of things. I mainly just ask my bro for a lot of that shit. But, and it's like, anyways, I have the opportunity to ask Louis for these things. This is why I ask Louis a lot of things for a lot of games and a lot of food and a lot of other things. Candy, welcome to the stream. How you doing? My bad. I'm just going on and on about why, you know, it's fucked in my scenario because I want the Switch 2 so bad because of fucking Donkey Kong. You know, like there's a new 3D Donkey Kong and I'm a massive Donkey Kong fan right now. And I've played literally almost every Donkey Kong country, actually every Donkey Kong country to this point, beat them all, and it's like, I want more Donkey Kong, and Nintendo's finally fucking delivering it to me, and now it's like, I feel inclined to, they said, hey, it's 3D Donkey Kong, you know, I want to be there to support fucking 3D Donkey Kong so Donkey Kong as an IP can keep fucking going in the future. I don't have to wait another 10, 13 years for another Donkey Kong. We can have it in 2-3 years if this game is super successful or whatever. You know, so it's going to be like, I need to be there to support Donkey Kong as it's released. So that's why I'm kind of like, fuck. You know, I want to be there for that. And I'll talk with Louis more about it and why I probably should get the Switch 2 and shit and what's going to happen to my Switch 1, you know, when I get around to it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end this vlog. I talked about the Switch 2 way too fucking much in this thing. I'm going to go do a review. You love Donkey Kong? Yeah, I love Donkey Kong as a series. I love it. It's a phenomenal franchise. I love all the games in it. And it's like they're releasing a new 3D one and I don't have enough money for it, you know, it's going to be like $70, $80, you know, the console already is like $400, you know, I think it was, yeah, $450 for the console, and I'm just like, God damn it. So it's like, God. So I'm just, anyways, I feel like I'm perseverating now, so I need to get off this damn thing and go do the Iron Man 3 video like you should have done forever ago, but there are so many things in life that have, you know, taken shit from me, or not taken shit from me, but just fucking bleh. Go do the Iron Man 3 video. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts. That's fuck. That's the vlog. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this Switch 2 shit. You gonna get it? You gonna grab it? Do you guys feel the same way I do? Like conflicted? Or maybe wait a year or two like Trickster said in my comments? Like, let me know down below when this actually gets uploaded if you guys have more thoughts on this topic. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. God bless you all. Hope you guys all have a great day, especially if this is the only video you're watching from me today. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit for those that want to watch me talk about Iron Man 3. Anyways, deuces.